A, B, C. A always B, B, C closing. Always be closing.
All right, yo, what's up, everybody? This is Scare Money Don't Make Money collab episode with John from the Help Me podcast. Is that right? Help Me
Help
podcast?
myself.
Help Myself podcast. Sorry, my help me, man.
Help me. I hear
help,
you.
help
Yeah.
me, bro. Help Myself podcast. Hey, we here together. Honestly, just because we out here just trying to spread a good message, and I thought it would be dope for us to just kind of do it collectively together, man. We all just out here trying to survive. You feel me? So, John, if you wouldn't please tell them about your podcast, I'm gonna tell them about our podcast, and then that way we can mesh it together, and our audiences can grow together.
Good deal. Good deal, man. First off, uh, forgive me. My co-pilot is around here running around. I don't have a dedicated space like y'all got, man. It's expensive out here in Alexandria, man. But so my co-pilot, y'all might hear him yelling or playing youth kitty theme songs or something.
Yeah.
so
Hey,
me for that. But yeah, glad to be here, to Help Myself podcast. I had to kind of diversify because I started out with mostly military guests, but I
Yep.
wanted it to be for everybody. So basically, help myself. One of my big things that I'm passionate about is accountability and personal responsibility. So sharing tips on how to be take control of your own destiny, things to do to make yourself better, how to navigate better in the world. And then, one of the biggest things I like to do is, collab with folks that are doing amazing stuff that um, you know, took big leaps. I was talking with you, Killer Cam, you talked about it like, hey, we be having these guests on here and we just like, hey, just take the leap. And I was like, that's what I'm talking about. So y'all inspired me, I didn't took the leap now, I'm just like, hey, what's the worst can happen? They say no. So,
Yeah.
and we all in recruiting, so y'all know what no means, new opportunities. So
Hey, and it's only ever and a no is only a no right now.
right.
And then and for your people who Scare Money Don't Make Money podcast, this was formed honestly because of COVID. We sitting at home. Me and Roy, I know people always talk about don't take your don't take your work home with you and talk about it all the time, but we just like recruiting so much, that's all we talk about. And so I said we should do a podcast. Roy said, yeah, let's do a podcast. And I texted him on a Friday and said, we got our first guest on Monday, and we already have a YouTube channel and a Facebook and Instagram. So here we are. I don't know, Roy. I don't know if you realize, but it's 9 months later.
Man, wow.
9 months and 32 episodes later. Episode 31 and 32 dropped today. We just had the CEO of Loonly on, and then we are doing a Women's History Month special editions, of course, with my daughter Ivy. So so we talk everything from recruiting, marketing, management, leadership, anything and everything, kind of the same thing you said, John. We really try to make sure we stayed away from our military guests as much as possible, not because we don't value it, obviously, but because, like you said, there's like that growth aspect to it, right? We wanted to talk to civilians and also bring those civilians to our military listeners, and so far it's been good. Everybody, I got a text yesterday from one of my boys I was an airman with, and he's like, bro, y'all really on this episode brought just dropping stuff about transition, and he's like, I really appreciate it. So it's been good.
I love the energy y'all got, man. Killer Cam, you kind of the antagonizer,
Oh yeah.
My boy Roy, he be getting passionate, nigga. So the energy is dope.
So we built our show. It was kind of funny how we built it, right? Because how we I reach out to, like I was telling you, like I reach out to all the guests. I kind of talked to them beforehand, learned about them. I like to drop Roy just into the situation and just see how he reacts, right? But he's also a little more level-headed than I am, so like a little lower energy. So he thinks about stuff analytically, where I'm just like, I just say the first thing that comes out my mouth, and I'll we'll see what happens.
Just drop us on him, right?
Yeah, man. I mean, but it's been working out though, because like a lot of times, like the information that I get, I'm hearing it for the first time. So just like a listener. So from the listener standpoint, I'm able to bring that right now question to the table. So,
yep. And so how did you decide to form to structure your podcast?
Oh man, so real similar story to what y'all are doing. Matter of fact, March 30th will be a year since I started.
There you
And
go.
like y'all jumped out the gate and y'all were hitting it right. I did mine like the first one dropped in March. Then you didn't hear from me again till June. And then I think I dropped one in July. And finally I said, man, I need to be more consistent, you know. And so that's when we got a pace. But I started COVID. I was sitting in the house with plenty of time and a lot of uncertainty. And so when I started structuring it, it was just listening to other podcasts. I was now funny story. So it started out, and I even tell the story in my first episode, which was bumpy as hell. Can I use hell on here?
Yeah.
Like,
we're a free speech podcast.
Okay, all right. It was bumpy. That first one, I only kept it because I was proud that I got through the whole thing, but it was bad, man. It was bad. But I started out as the Get Your Life podcast because I had a friend back in Vegas. And every time I do something, she'd be like, Jon Singletary, get your life. So
get your life.
But then when I went on to publish it, I couldn't get on all the platforms because there was another Get Your Life podcast out there.
Oh, got you.
So I had a buddy, man, he got a song called Help Myself. And I was playing it. And I said, I'm going to call my podcast the Help Myself podcast.
Yep.
And you just roll with it, man. Nothing prolific, nothing deep.
No,
just, real simple.
No, and that's all it is.
Deep is scared money don't make money. That's real talk right there.
So ours is the same thing though. Like I mean, and I had even told Roy about how I had said that to a number of recruiters where they would say stuff, and I'd be like, "Man, you need to stop being all scared, bro. Scared money don't make money." And they was like, "I'm like, that's right. You heard. I said it. I said it to you." And so,
I ain't trying to dive into the recruit thing, but that's the difference between some of us. Some people just came into recruiting because, and some of us came into it because we love it. So we got a whole different mindset.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
That's it.
And that's how we did ours. And that's what I think we said that the day we talked about the podcast, because I think Roy was like, what are we going to call it? And I was like, bro, scare money don't make money. He's like, did you really just say that fast? You didn't even think about it. And I was like, I don't need to think about, I don't need to think about shit. I just make it happen, baby.
Don't think at all. Let's go. Just go. Like, where you going? Like, we just got here. Like, let's go over here. Like, damn. All
right. But we just paid $15 to get in here. We'll go that way. So who was your first guest? Man. Who was your first guest, Jon?
My first guest. I'm not on mute, am I? No,
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah, my first guest was actually one of my mentors, retired Chief Master Sergeant Kevin Danley. And he's Dr. Danley now. So he was my first guest. Somebody I've known since I was a senior airman when I met him. So I've known him for a while.
Wow.
Yeah. I was a senior airman back in the early aughts. So so that was my first guest.
EDU days.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, man. I came in the 90s, so this is my third uniform change, so that was my first guest. 90s?
No, but this is my third uniform.
Okay, yeah. Well, everybody came in with the BDU. This third, so.
Man, you'd be surprised. I'll be talking to some of these kids.
So, whose idea was it for y'all's first guest? Was that all you, Cam, or was that?
That was Cam.
That was Cam.
That was Cam. That was Cam. That was Cam. 99% of our guests were Cam. But I would say one of the coolest things was though, like he really found like some interesting guests. And it's kind of pretty much using the things that he was taught. Like just like you said, just asking the question, like, hey, Can we have a conversation? Like, yeah, we can talk. And then you have a conversation. Well, cool. Since we had that conversation, do you mind being a guest on our podcast? Sure, no problem. Like, I'll be a guest on your podcast. So then, of course, 3 days later, hey, we got somebody. Like, when? How? Like, I talked to him on Monday. I asked him on Wednesday. We're doing it on Friday. That was kind of quick. Wasn't expecting it. And then it got to the point like back to back.
Oh yeah. He wasn't ready. He wasn't ready for that. That's when so the SEAC came about because I saw him really on social media a lot, on like Facebook and stuff. And I knew he had just retired. And so like I said, I just sent him a Facebook message and was like, yo, you know, this is my name's Cam. I'm a guard recruiter. Like, we just started a podcast called, and most people, once you say the name, they're like, ooh, I like the name. And so like,
okay.
And so, and even during his episode, he couldn't stop saying it. He's like, that's why I love that name. Scared money don't make money so much. I mean, you're top enlisted dude for the entire armed forces. I mean, you obviously ain't scared. And so, and he had that funny thing where he's like, he's gonna get you with an E-tool. He says he's gonna destroy terrorism with an E-tool. So that's his big thing. And so he came on, man, and it was dope, and it was cool because a lot of our guests have been recommended people. So that's always been nice too. And so that's kind of how it started, man. And then I just started diving into LinkedIn and all that. And as I met more and more people, I really just started was it? We had Ben Levitt, the YouTube monster, man. That's the same thing. I was just on YouTube messing around. I was like, man, I'm gonna hit this dude up. And so I sent him a message on Instagram and was like, hey, bro, we'd love to have you on the podcast.
True to form. Scared money don't make money.
Yeah, you guys know the show The Mayans?
The Mayans.
It's the Sons of Anarchy spinoff.
Okay.
I heard of it.
So I didn't tell you yet, but we have one of the actors from that show coming on the show.
Man, see what I mean? I'm not even worthy to be on this show. Y'all slumming today, huh?
No, man. No, and then there's always, as I'm sure you do with your show too, is there's always like a method to the madness, right? So the dude that we have coming on is Rocco, Vincent Rocco. And so I didn't know he was such a big veteran. And I only found that out because I was on Clubhouse. And then he dropped into Clubhouse and was like, I'm on a veteran. I'm Rocco. I'm from the Mayans television show. If any of y'all ever want anything, just hit me up on Instagram. And so, don't tell me that. Don't tell me to hit you up.
Yeah, right. Don't say that.
So I messaged him right away. It was like, what's up, man? My name's Cam. And he's like, bet, send me an email to like this or whatever. And biggest point, as is follow-up, right? So I didn't hear back from him for a week or two, which is fine because you're an actor, you busy. And so I sent him a message and was like, hey, sir, I know you busy, man. Just wanted to let you know that I'm still here, ready when you are. You let me know when you're ready. And he sent me his number. Hey, call me. Called him. He's like, what's up, bro? I'm on my way to disc golf right now. I just wanted, you got my number now. We're done shooting the Mayans, in 2 weeks. After that, my schedule will be normal. I'm more than happy to be on your show. You let me know when you do any other events. I got you. Like, you got my number now. Text me, call me, whatever. And I was like, all right, bet, bro.
Man, I might need to call your boss and get you a promotion, man. Man, let me call Zach and be like, hey, man, you need to promote him.
So,
you go down to San Diego, they got you.
I hope so. Man, that'd be pretty dope. But yeah. So I mean, so who was your next guest, and like, why did you choose them?
So with season 1, my first 3 guests were people that I knew, and they had y'all hear my co-pilot back there. They had really compelling backstories. So obviously Dr. Danley is my mentor, one of my coaches and everything. My second one was I don't know, when did you come in recruiting for the guard?
I came for the guard last year, December.
Okay. So yeah, you probably didn't get to meet Chief Taylor. I think she was
Mm-mm.
retired by then, but
Mm-hmm.
she was the chief of ops for Air National Guard recruiting, and I brought her on because in uh 2018, no, January of 2019, her son committed suicide,
Yeah.
and that was just, man, she came back from that. She actually came back to work. I'd have been done, like,
Yeah.
and she came back to work, and uh, I just wanted to have her on for that story. It was just an amazing story, and how she came back and was able to contribute to the organization, and probably, in my
Yeah.
opinion, one of the best chiefs that we've had in recruiting and retention ever.
Yeah.
And this is somebody that came from the retention side of the house
Yeah. Yeah.
and was that impactful of a leader. And then just to tell her story. And then my third guest was another buddy of mine, had a great resiliency story and in the life coaching. So that was kind of the theme a little bit. But after that, I said, hey, man, I need to, the goal for season 2, I need some folks that ain't military connected.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I did a couple of folks that I knew from different areas. One was the guy that does my theme song. He's a musician up
Yeah.
and coming. So I talked to him, and got some good guests for this. Matter of fact, season 2 is going to be real good because of the conversation I had with you. So props to you, Killer Cam. It's like, man, scam money don't make money, man. I just started hitting people, and they just started saying, yeah. So,
Yeah.
man, I really appreciate that you reached out to me, man. So you did that whole a rising tide lifts all ships. So I appreciate you for that, man. Yeah, I owe you one, so I'm gonna have to figure out how to use my position to kind of hook you up somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Man, it's all about, and that's all it is, right? Is like, and it's funny. I think I told you it's funny too, because like, we're recruiters, it's so easy for us to go ask a high school kid or ask a college kid, like, hey, you want to join the military? Like, so easy for that. But as soon as we want to do anything that, whether it be for ourselves or ask somebody something out of our element, it's weird. Like, I've watched it happen, right? And it's almost like the whole the imposter syndrome that I have learned about recently that I didn't know about. I was like, I didn't realize this was like a thing, because I'm just kind of out there. Like, my mom always jokes that when I was born, I sucked all her confidence out of her. She's like, you've been doing your own, thing since you was, yeah, you've been doing your own thing since you was a baby, dog. Like, don't even talk to me about confidence. And so that was a new thing to hear from me. I'll tell you, we did a clubhouse a couple weeks ago, and one of our top recruiters in the Air National Guard, I won't say the name, but I was talking to them, and I said, why didn't you come on stage and say something? Like, I know you had some good feedback. And they said, I don't think I did. Like, I didn't feel like I belonged on the stage. And I was like, bruh, like, you can't never feel like you don't belong on that stage, dude. Like, you don't have to be an expert to stand on the stage. Just stand 10 toes down, bro, and like, what you know, and that's okay.
Facts. You told them right. That's one of the most frustrating things in leadership, is you talking to people and you're trying to get them to believe. Like, I deal with that all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like my job as a leader is that I'm a evaluator and an identifier of talent, putting people in a position to succeed. If I'm the smartest person in the room, then I need to change rooms. And so as a leader is putting people, like, there are people on my team. I'm the chief, but there's so many people on my team smarter than me and better than me in different areas. And so I try to put them in positions to succeed. And that's the whole thing. There's always this area where we're fearless, but for some reason it doesn't translate everywhere, except if you kill a Cam,
Yeah.
or if you like my boy Roy, the fruit is in the pudding. So
the fruit is in the pudding. The fruit is in the pudding, because you know what? The fruit can go in any type of pudding. So the proof is always there. So you good. Like, because no matter what, like, because if you say it with confidence, guess what?
Listen,
guess what?
Everybody listen, y'all gotta go check out episode 1 of Scam Money Don't Make Money, so you can hear the confidence in which he said it with. Like, he had me rethinking, is this fruit in the pudding? I thought it was
It's almost along the line of like T-Pain's song, and everybody thought he said "ooh wee," but then you like found out that he said "and then." It just messes with your mind. You be like, let me listen to that one more time.
Okay.
And then,
Wait, what song?
like, I'm gonna buy you a drink.
I'm gonna buy you a drink.
He
Yeah,
said,
he's not
he
saying
don't.
ooh wee.
He said, and then
He's not saying it.
he's not saying ooh wee.
And then I'm gonna take you home with me.
You just changed my life.
I'm telling you, it messes you up. They're lyrics. He's not just.
Hey, it's everywhere. It's everywhere.
T-Pain, if you listening, I want you on the podcast. Killer Cam. The after party. We talk about this, man, because my whole teens has just been eliminated.
It messes with you. It messes with you. But like,
Yeah.
but y'all was saying though, like, man, you'll be surprised just saying things with confidence. I don't know if you've seen this YouTube, and a guy was like going into the baseball stadium, and because he was just saying it with so much confidence, like, yeah, I'm staying right there. Like, I'm going to that box. They were just letting, he got all the way through without get a ticket. He made it all the way up to the VIP box.
I did. Yep.
Yes.
Look that up.
Yes. Yes. I'm gonna try it one day, but like I don't know. Like I ain't trying to go to jail.
A little bit, you know?
Yeah, like let it die down.
Wait till people forget a little bit about it.
Yeah.
Let people forget about it. But it's just how you present the information. It's no different when you like working with applicants or working with anybody. It's how you present the information. Like if you present it as fact, sometimes they'll be like, okay, like man, the sky is red. I'm telling you. I mean, I guess it got a little tint to it.
I see it now. I can see it.
I can see it.
All this
All
time,
about that
but he's
confidence.
right. I see it.
Man, y'all just destroy me with that whole T-Pain thing, man.
Oh, it gets worse. I'm not gonna go into all the songs that. There's another song that he says something, but you think he said something else.
That ain't even the biggest one. There's another song, where it really messed you up. That's
give me a week before y'all ruin my Give me a week, man, because Roy, you know I be up at the club, bro. You know that was my thing. Don't ruin all my club.
I'm telling you, man. It's all I do is win song. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh my God, I don't want to know.
So,
so John, what is the progression of your podcast now? So you got through season 1, right? We haven't decided if we're gonna do seasons yet, but how have you watched the progression of your podcast and what you're talking about?
So the progression to go from seasons for me, it was really simple. And this is a footnote, but I'll talk about the progression. But
yeah,
season 1, man, I was just doing it, I wanted format, I wanted segments and all that, but I was new and I was just doing it. So it got split up into seasons because there were 2 things I wanted to do. So a podcast that I really enjoy is Jamel Hill, Unbothered. And so at the end of one of her seasons, she did an awards wrap up. So I wanted to do a season recap really bad.
Yeah.
So that premeditated, the decision. I need to have seasons if I do a season recap. Yeah. And the season recap was the most downloaded and listened to episode of season 1. Actually, all time right now for me. And then also, I call season 1 my lo-fi season. So I had to kind of upgrade, kind of get, the mic and all that other stuff. So I needed a little time to learn how to use, because when you're doing it with the factory stuff, you get used to doing it a certain way. And you think, if I upgrade, it's just going to be easier. It's harder when you upgrade, like get the mic levels right and all that.
It changes everything.
Harder. Yeah.
It changes everything.
So I wanted to start to segment it up, because one of the things I read when I was studying podcasts is one of the things that makes it more remarkable to your viewers is if you have segmentation. So, so this season I added a new segment called F Your Couch.
Yes.
I like it. I like it.
So it's just pushing
Tell
people
us.
to get up off of their couch and get out there and do something. So
I like it.
now we add stuff, we're trying to keep it clever,
No, and yeah, I mean, and you're right, and what's funny is what the more and more you learn about it, right? Is like I can tell you why your season recap was the most downloaded. It's because people are lazy, and so like because we keep it real, people are lazy, right? It's the same thing with social media content. Is nobody wants to sit there and read shit. They want to like, for instance, yesterday, I did a post on LinkedIn. No bullshit. It was 3 lines. That's it. It said, "Why is it that current military members are the smallest demographic on LinkedIn? What do you think we can do to change it?" It was 5,500 views that thing got. 170 comments, like all that. But it's because it was quick. It was a quick little verb, and people could respond, and everyone got an opinion. Everybody's got an opinion, right, of what we can do. And so that's why they did it. And so the recaps are no different. Is they're like, oh, bet, like, I don't have to listen to 10 of his episodes. I can just listen to this one, and he's gonna kind of tell us what's up.
The meat potatoes, like he's gonna dissect it for you.
Yeah. Well, speaking of which, Roy, we need to do a 21 episode recap and a 32 episode recap.
I like
well,
that.
Because we did a 10, so I try to break it up in 10s so that we can do a 10, so we can go back.
That makes sense.
Y'all already to the next level, man. What's the progression of Scared Money Don't Make It? I mean, y'all got merch. Y'all got
I said
guest T-Pain gonna be on the show here in a couple of weeks.
T-Pain, we coming for you, bro. I had so funny enough, I was in another group, or one of my groups that I be talking to, and I was like, oh yeah, let me hit up my t-shirt lady, and one of them sent that meme of that kid who's holding that block of money, and it's like, this is how Cam be walking around all day.
Bartholomew.
But I'm trying to get, I always tell Roy, I say, I'm trying to get that Bartholomew money.
Bartholomew money. Bartholomew. But hey, it's funny that y'all was talking about like the attention span. Like I see myself, like my patience has gotten really short. And when I do, like really short, I've already had short patience, but it's really short now. So when I like look at like YouTube or Instagram, now I start looking at the time. If it doesn't catch my attention within the first 30 seconds and it's longer than 5 minutes, next.
Man, come on. I'm trying to tell you. I got buddies that go on live for 15 and 20 minutes. I'm like, I'm not going to sit up here and listen to you for 50. I got things to do.
No, nothing irks me more. I got a cousin. She'll go live and she just sitting up there dancing and singing. I'm just like, wait. Then I get mad because I spent 10 seconds looking at it. I'm like, oh, hell no. Get off of. Like what? That's
why you don't never catch that's why you don't never catch me on nobody's lives, but you also don't catch me being upset when nobody's on mine, because I know what I do is I go back later and I'll see what the comments are, and that will tell me if I should watch it or not.
I know you could do that.
That's smart. That's smart. But I mean, in some cases, I want to catch the live to see what the energy is. Plus,
I agree.
It depends on what she looks like,
Yeah.
Y'all married, so let me not sound like this. I'm single out here. I'm out here single, but
my wife ain't dumb. She be like, "What's on your Instagram?" I'm like, "This model." She's like, "I hate you." I'm like,
I done sat in some lives where I got no kind of information to help my life, but it was worth my time.
So, hey, whatever relaxes your mind. That's what. That's
it.
That's you know what I'm saying. That's a big thing.
That's a form of meditation.
Hey, if it brings you joy, like you really can't hate on it, right?
Health and wellness.
Be mad at it.
And it's COVID friendly.
And it's
there you go. There you go.
Drop the knowledge
right there.
Knowledge. I can imagine, boy, at strip clubs, but I know they suffering right now with COVID.
Oh, bro, I don't even. I know Diamond and Candy and Peppermint, and
all
Cinnamon.
Vanilla.
R.I.P. Cinnamon.
Man. Only one that probably get paid now, Bone Crusher.
Yeah, you're right. So have you been on any podcasts before, John?
I have. It was a while ago. Well, I say a while ago. It was slightly before COVID. It was a buddy of mine, and it was just his show. But yeah, I've been on a couple of podcasts, and been a special guest a couple of times. But I didn't really like. Well, let's not say I didn't like it. It was different because they were doing me like you do Roy. I had no idea what was coming, so I'm just sitting there and they just throwing shit at me, and I'm like, "Whoa, what's going on?" So
yeah, I do try and make sure, like, whenever I do that, because I tell people that too, that because they always wonder, like, am I gonna meet the co-host before we do the show? And I'm like, nah, we keep it that way. I'm like, but don't worry, we're not asking no one's asking you any outlandish stuff out here. No one's asking you political preferences and all, none of that. Like it's all conversational. It's really just to kind of give, he can think about it from a viewer perspective, Johnny on the spot type thing. And so far it's worked out well.
Oh, yeah, y'all throw them fastballs right down the middle, man. Like you had one guy on there, I'm trying to think, he was the guy that started the staffing agency and was 100K like in 3
4 Ben Nader, the 6-figure recruiter.
6-figure recruiter.
You got him right where he wanted to be, man. So that I feel like that's good interviewing, man, because one of the things I found is interviewing is an art. And you gotta refine your art because there's some folks that get out there and I've even noticed in my own interviewing, like I need to update my questions. I need to kind of be a little more spontaneous because it gets too boxed in, and there's always an opportunity to go out on a tangent that would be way more interesting than any questions you had. So
and I think go ahead.
Oh yeah, because you don't want to be too predictable.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, and I think, and I don't even think, I'm trying to think. I guess we only have like really those 2 main questions we asked at the end, but in general, I think conversationally we try and figure out the where you came from, where you're at, where you're going.
There it is.
So speaking of which, how did you get started, young sir?
Thank you so much for the compliment. Young. Yes, I am young to all of those 75.
You got way gray hair than I do, so everyone's young to me.
Listen, man, look, I done got to the point where I got to cut it short. I don't have no more options. I used to do other stuff like, see, you got a whole swoop, but yeah, I can't do that, man.
I used to cut it short. I used to line it up, fade it, everything, but then it started to look like I had bald spots because of the white hair. And so then I remember in Mississippi, actually, Roy, when we was out there, I was like, I think I have to start growing my hair out again. And then I had to start growing it out.
Hair people problems, you know what I'm saying?
I know. We're talking about hair. Roy's like,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
but here's the thing, man.
Like, you know what? That's discrimination. I'm follically challenged.
I was in basic training. I have seen my bald head. That is not good for anybody because it's like a little step, and then it's not a good look.
He got a head with a high and tight naturally.
It's a bad look, man. But when you say got started, what do you mean? Military?
Like, yeah, I mean, like where are you from? Like, where are you from?
Oh,
like,
man,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
there you go. Yeah. I'm from San Antonio, Texas, man. Home of Air Force basic training,
military.
San Antonio, Texas, the east side. I am from, so when they gave us the briefing and they were talking about we could go on the town pass and they told you them tracks not to go past, I'm from that part of the town. So,
gotcha. Hey.
So grew up in San Antonio. There's some military in my family, but I was kind of disconnected from the men in my family. So it wasn't my career path. I remember in high school, the recruiter came and I talked bad to the recruiter. Like, I wish I could find the recruiter from my high school so I could apologize to that man, because I talked bad about him. And here we are 25 years later, and I've been in recruiting for 19 years. So, you know, but yeah, I started there, active duty.
Yeah.
First duty station was the most beautifulest base in the entire planet, Dias Air Force Base.
That cool ass Dias.
Man, Dias is so amazing. Spent a
Yeah.
couple of years out there as a fuels guy, POL.
Mm,
Then Palace fronted into the guard, came back to San Antonio.
yeah.
I called the operator and I told him that I was looking for the reserve recruiter, and they hooked me up with a guy by the name of Staff Sergeant Alexander J. Brown. If he hasn't retired yet, he made chief, but and I was working with him for probably a month before I realized he was putting me into the Air National Guard. I'd never heard of it, had no idea what it was, but it's the best mistake I ever made. So
Yeah.
got started and went to recruiting school in 2002. So man, so I've been doing that for a while.
We're not gonna comment on what I was doing that year.
Yeah, see, I was on active duty when September 11th happened. You know, I remember, you know, where I was and what was going on. But yeah, so you know, recruiting. I think y'all talked about it in one of your podcasts, but I had a similar deal. Like, what I wanted to do, it was either recruiting or be an MTI. You know,
Yeah,
and,
yeah, that
so
was
I
me.
came into recruiting. I was almost done with my first tour, and I wanted to go do MTI duty. And my wife at the time was like, "No bueno, not gonna happen." So,
Here she is, you with the dolphin.
yeah, yeah. So I stuck with recruiting, and it turned out all right. It turned out all right. Yeah.
Yeah, Roy. So like, yeah, and I think that's why me and Roy connect too, is because he legitimately wanted to be in recruiting, to the fact of like, because you had a shaving waiver before, right? And then you got it removed. Like, he got his shaving waiver removed to become eligible so that he could be in recruiting, and
Know all about that.
yeah, I'm about to say, and that's no small feat. And then like me, I like I think you heard in the podcast, is like I need to do something different. So I called my functional, and that's right when they changed that, the program for active duty. And he was like, just put your name in the hat, man. And I was like, all right, bet. And I put my name in the hat, and here I am.
And it's funny that y'all talking about that. I was actually just talking to my mom about it. We were just going back down like different decisions in our lives and stuff like that. And she was like, if you can go back to whatever age and this and that, would you do this all over again? Would you join the Air Force again? I was like, yeah, I would still join the Air Force. Like, the one thing I said though, I probably would have came into recruiting sooner. I probably would have came in. But in the same breath, on the flip side, I think waiting a little bit and having a little bit more experience up under my belt with certain civilians and certain NCOs I had over me kind of helped me be the recruiter that I am. So I probably still wouldn't have came in sooner, but recruiting, it was just calling me, and everybody was trying to talk me out of it. I mean, from my supervisor to my chief, they're like, nah, you don't want to do it because it's stressful and this and that. But I'm like, I mean, if you already work hard, you work long hours, you do certain things, like, what am I doing differently in recruiting that I didn't have a 9 to 5 in my old career field. Like, I was already working long hours, crazy hours, getting called at late at night and stuff like that. So
yeah,
really nothing's gonna change.
Yeah. And see, mine was different. Like, mine was like completely different, because I found out I was going to recruiting, and like everybody was like, yo, bruh. They was like, there ain't nobody else I'd rather see be in recruiting. And they was like, you gonna love it. You gonna love it. And it, because remember I told you Roy Cook. So it's funny enough, one of our boys, Cook, he was in my old career field, and he was like a big recruiter. So dang, I forgot the dude's name, but he was stationed with the dude that was the recruiter in Beaumont, Texas, who got in a whole bunch of trouble like years ago, active duty recruiter. Like went to jail and all types of stuff.
You sure that wasn't the guy in El Paso?
What's his name?
I think you talking about Rodney.
Yeah, Rodney Wells.
Rodney
Yep.
Wells.
He was
one
Rodney
of my
Wells'
closest wait. One of my closest friends was his office partner, James Core Jr. And he retired as a chief.
Oh, Core.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Yo, that was my chief in my HP squadron.
Yeah, that's my boy. He was in my promotion ceremony, man.
Yep. And so
small world like that.
So Cook was there, and then he eventually he got out of recruiting, came back to our career field. But when I found out I was going, he was in recruiting, and so was our superintendent. And they were like, yo, like, you're gonna love it, man. Like, it's gonna be dope. And when I got picked up for recruiting, when Cook saw how excited I was about it, it actually motivated him to get back. And so he came back and then was a Linko in our squadron. And when me and Roy were in our we were in our flight together on EA, and
I bet
you
was rolling, running it with him.
Bro. So
man, I know you.
So he wasn't. So the crazy thing is he wasn't my Linko. He was.
Okay.
But he ended up kind of being, because what happened is and I don't know if the guard was affected by this, but like there was at one point where we were just putting all these people in, right? And New Orleans especially just got inundated. I mean, it was to the point where literally their requests were 30 days out. Like I was waiting for 6 o'clock in the morning to schedule somebody 30 days out. And I called Cook, my boy, because he was at Jackson, and I was like, yo, I'm gonna start processing people through your MEPS. And he's like, but that's 3 hours away from where you at, bro. And I was like, that's all I got rap people for that. And
you got your rappers.
I got my rappers, right? And so I processed. So I took over that MEPS and New Orleans MEPS, to the point where the flight was complaining about how many people I was processing at their MEPS. And so, but Cook was like, yo, our job is to process people for the Air Force. I don't care who the recruiter is, where they coming from. As long as these people get through MEPS, that's our job, right? And so I think I processed like an additional 25 people through another MEPS that year. But it was dope, man, but it was cool though.
Man, but you talking that now, I got a question for both of y'all.
Yeah.
It don't have to be the top, but man, what's one of y'all's most memorable moments in your recruiting career, and then one of your most memorable moments in your short but illustrious podcasting career?
I'm gonna let Roy go first. You had some good ones. For once, you get to talk first.
For one, no, like one of my most in my recruiting career. I would say one. It's a crazy one. So I had a young lady. She had like a really, really hard time. She had like a really crazy life going on. And she was like, to everybody else, she was disqualified. She wasn't gonna make it, blah, 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 based on weight. So right before it was time for her to go, her arm got dislocated because a 40-year-old woman beat her up. And we worked through it. We got her through, and she finally left for basic training. No hiccups or anything like that. And I would say about 2 years later, I got a random email from her saying she was happy, loving life right now. She had just got married and a whole bunch of different stuff. And just thinking back to everything that we went through, I was like, wow. And I got a lot of stories like that. But for the podcast, I would say the knowledge. I always joke with Cam, and I always say like we're like 10 steps behind. 10 steps behind, like you're in the military. Like we're in this umbrella. And I always joke, I call it being institutionalized. We're a lot of us are institutionalized, and recruiting broke us. And I would kind of tie that into like my big thing from recruiting. It broke that mold. Like you have to stand 10 toes on your own. You have to think outside the box, but you've been trained and conditioned to think so much inside of a box. So much inside of a box. You come into a career field to where you can't think within inside that box. You have to think within your experiences, the knowledge that you have, and work your way around to make things happen, to make a way out of no way. And that's where I've learned even more, like with Cam, like he gets some really good guests, and it just kind of reemphasizes how far behind we really are. And that's what I like. Knowledge. I love to learn.
Little drip drop.
I love drip drop. And I don't want to be I don't want to be institutionalized all my life.
Man, that's right.
So mine was Sammy. So the tattoo policy change where sleeves and all that. One of my applicants was a major part of that. So I recruited the first girl to pass the TACP pass test once they had made it all inclusive. And so Sammy was a referral from a friend of mine at a local MMA gym, CrossFit gym, and he said, "I got this girl. She's got a great attitude, but she needs a waiver for some stuff." And I was like, "Oh, bet." He's like, "Oh, and by the way, she has a sleeve tattoo." And I was like, whatever. And like one of the things that I always tell people is like, I don't follow that normal mode of like, I'm not gonna not talk to you just because you're not qualified right now, because you never know what can happen in the future. Someone's 200 pounds overweight, bump it, bro. I'll give you 5 minutes. Let's chop it up. I'll tell you what can happen, and then if you're motivated, bet. If you're not, whatever. Like you're still a person. I have no problem giving you 5 minutes. And so she came in, we talked about it, and I was like, okay, we got to figure this out. And so the first thing we did was I talked to my sister service counterparts who were friends of mine, the Army recruiters, and I said, hey, I can't process this girl because she has a sleeve tattoo. How about I buy y'all some crawfish and y'all process this girl for me so that I can give her a pass test? And they were like, all right, bet. And so they processed her so that she could get a qualified MEPS physical. As we all know, that's required for her to take the pass test. And so bought them their crawfish, got me my physical. And so took her to the pass test, told her, look, and I remember on the way to the pass test, I said, if we do this, we're doing it. There ain't no bullshit. Like your face is going to be plastered across recruiting service. You're going to become this standard. Like if you're not prepared for that, then I'm going to drop you off at home. And I was like, because we don't go having, we go fooling. That's how I operate. And she was like, let's go. So we went to the pass test, and I remember the head of T3I was there, the guys who run the, all the spec warfare stuff, and she passed. And he was like, where the fuck? He's like, how did this even happen? And so I told him, and he's like, you dirty bastard. He's like, that, I like it. He's like, you get it done, right? And I was like, bro, that's what we do around here, but we get it done. And so I remember the best feeling ever was when I made that phone call to the squadron, who then called the 2-star who was in charge of AFRS and was like, she passed the test. And they was like, oh shit. And then come to find out, that 2-star then called General Goldfein, who was taking over at the moment, and was like, she passed the test. General Goldfein happened to be sitting in I forgot what type of meeting he was in, but it was a big meeting for Air Force policy. And then General Goldfein was like, we just had the first girl that ever passed the pass test for the Air Force. And then it all just kind of like went from there. And she joined, man. She joined on the TACP contract. We got a waiver from General Goldfein for her to leave 2 weeks early to basic training. She was the first girl to ever pass it. The tattoo policy got changed, 3.5 months after she passed it that first time. Um, yeah, man.
The legend.
it's and so and then my podcast, the best thing from the podcast, honestly, last night was pretty dope. I got a text message, like I told you, from my friend who I've been I was an airman with, and and I don't push it on anybody, right? Like, I put it out there, but I don't like, man, please listen to my podcast. I'm just like, yo, if you want to listen, let me know, give me feedback. And I remember he just sent me a screenshot of the podcast with like a fire emoji, and he's like, and I was like, yo, you like it? And he's like, bro, this just changed my whole life when it comes to my transition. And I was like, that's what we're here for, bro.
It's about, man. That's what it's about.
Yeah.
So we got what about you, huh? Now what about you, big dog?
That's what we gonna do. That's what we do.
Young sir.
Oh man, I want to say I feel young, but that'd be a lie. Oh man, real similar, it's so many in recruiting, just like what you and Roy said, just you get all the personal accolades, but the stuff you remember are the lives you changed, man. And so when the first person that I ever put into the Air Force made senior, that was exciting for me.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. And then probably close to that would be one of the guys I supervised about a year after I got in the position. He made senior. I mean, not senior, I'm sorry, chief. He made chief. And then probably about 11 or 12 of the people that I've supervised have made senior, and then countless have made master. So that's, for me, that's the biggest thing. And I tell them all the time, like, don't get up there saying it's because of me. I'm just proud of y'all because I had something to offer. Y'all grabbed a hold of it and y'all did your thing with it. So that's the best part to me, seeing people promote. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna have to get with both of y'all because I'm gonna be trying to recruit Roy because I got something to do.
I've been trying to get him to the guard, man.
And me and Killer Kim, we got to talk about career progression because you got it, man. I wish I could get you in front of all the recruiters because when you were talking about that, just making it happen, I watch recruiters all of the time trip over themselves and get wrapped around and emotional about setbacks. And I'm like, you ain't recruiting if you're not getting setbacks. You're not doing it.
That's
how I watch that all the time. But with the podcast, I think my proudest moment is similar to yours. It was just, man, in the first couple of episodes, I was figuring out how I wanted the music to come in. It was a mess. And I'm literally experimenting in real time. So I just kept rocking with it. And there was a point where I caught my stride, man, and I was just talking my talk. And people, I got a text where somebody was just saying, man, you need to keep doing this because this is really helping folks. This is helping me. And that was the big thing. Like, there was some value in what I was doing. If there was no value, I don't have no problem quitting, but there was value. So that was it for me.
There you go. So our last two questions, because I know it's starting to get to the end of our time, is so the first, and you might already know them, but the first one is obviously, what advice do you have? And I don't even want to say just career advice, but just like life advice. Your podcast is literally called the Help Me Podcast. So how what's one of them key pieces of advice for someone to help themselves?
It's what we talked about. It's, really the title of your podcast says it all. Scared money don't make money. I think that's the biggest thing. We're just afraid.
Yeah.
I gotta give me one of them money guns.
It's the truth though. It's so, man. Y'all might be familiar with retired Chief Juan Lewis, the fired up chief, one of my mentors.
I've met him. He's a cool.
Yeah, he's a cool dude, man. He's a cool dude. I love that about him. He's down to earth. Met him and we hang out You know, he's back in the States now, so we're gonna have to hang out soon out here in San Antonio. But
Yeah.
long time ago, he said to me, man, it's amazing what you can do when you take the limitations off of yourself.
100%.
And that's the biggest thing I could say is take the limitations off yourself. Jump out there, do it. Stop. Because we think of a million reasons why we can't do something, but all you
Yep.
need is one reason why you can, and go for it.
Mhm.
So that would be the biggest piece of advice, and that goes for anything. You know,
Yeah.
we all know it. We came in the military, and I don't care where any of us are from. That basic training was like nothing we had ever done before. It was different. And if
Yeah.
you would have asked me before, did I think I'd be able to get through 6 weeks of what we went through? I'd have been like, hell no, ain't no way I'm doing that. But on the other side, man, and then when you go back to your neighborhood, you know you're different because you've achieved something. You
Yeah.
know, so definitely that'd be my biggest piece of advice. Just take the limits off yourself. Go for it.
Yeah. And what does scare money don't make money mean to you, young sir?
Young sir.
I'm gonna put you in my photos at now.
Young sir.
Oh, young
Yeah.
sir's calling me.
But if scared money don't make money, man. I mean, for me and my journey, it's self-evident. But you know what it means to me is like you're not gonna grow in comfortable places. You know,
Nope.
if you're doing what you know you can do, then you are not doing anything for yourself until you get out
Yeah.
there and do something that challenges you, makes you uncomfortable, scares you. Like we really should be doing something that scares us daily at the
Yeah.
least, you know.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I was a little nervous to come on here because, like, y'all rock stars, you know. I'm like, dang, but you know, share money don't make money if you don't go out there. And one of the things about it is that you got to bet on self. When you take on the work to do it, the people you need, the resources you need, they start falling in place. But they're not gonna come into your life. They're not gonna come into your space until you take, you know, that control of it and say, hey, you know, I'm the one that got to do this. And if you're not doing that, that's scared money, and scared money ain't gonna make money.
Mm. Boom. You write it down. You
I
write it
did
down.
write it down.
So,
I did
but
write it
whenever we get to the end, it's like church for Roy. He's like,
feel like my granny from back in the day. She used to do laps. I'm like, you get a
Right?
I had to bring you in here.
Right,
Right?
I had to help carry you in here. Now you sprinting.
Man, she be in a sprint too. She be in a sprint, and then she just stopped. Hey man, like you ain't gonna like Grant, quit embarrassing me, man. Like, get up. Like, man, all right. Usher got you.
Oh god. But anyways, so you know, this is our last second kind of, I call it the shameless plug segment, where it's all about you, man. You tell us where people to find you, what you know, any other products or services you offer, you know, and then we'll end it out.
And you're gonna have to do the same thing too, since
Yeah.
this is a dual thing, man. I'm gonna put this out on all of my platforms too, because you know I want to drive people, you know, to the Scared Money Don't Make Money podcast. Come on now.
Teamwork make the dream work.
Yeah, but pretty easy to find me. The website is the helpmyselfpodcast.com. The socials, it's at Help Myself Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
Yep.
And you can find it, you can search it on wherever you like to listen to pod, Google, Apple, Anchor, Breaker,
Yep.
Spotify. We on all those platforms. So everywhere except YouTube. I need to get on YouTube eventually, but we'll see.
I got you. So first thing is, Roy, we got to get some sweet pictures like John with the turtleneck and the suit thing, and you be like with the cool little like.
Hey,
I gotta
man,
like. Welcome to the Help Me podcast.
I was scared about doing that, but I realized scared money don't make money.
No, man, you fly. You fly, dog.
You
fly. He'll be on Clubhouse soon enough once I get him to get on Clubhouse. And you can do that. You know, you should do the Help Me podcast club, because I guarantee some people would show up for that. But
It's
you
a
know
big
what?
thing. I tell you, I'm always late to the party.
Hey, it's all good. So anyway, yeah, Scare Money Don't Make Money podcast. You can find us on Facebook under RC Productions. You can find us on YouTube under the Scare Money Don't Make Money. And then you can connect with me or Roy. I'm at People Person Cam. If you connect with me, you'll see Roy's stuff all connected. He barely use social media.
Yeah, he's a social media guru.
I ain't even gonna start with that.
I don't want to go there, but you know what though? Take the limits off yourself. That's all I'm gonna say. Take the limits off yourself. Just take them off. Just take them off. Like it's like when you get off from work, you be like, you know what? I'm gonna take this. Take it off. Just take it off. Take it off. Just
like
take it off.
Take them masks off as soon as we get.
You know what I'm saying? That's it. Cue the future song. Mask off.
Yo, what? Yo, that made me think about Arsenio Hall. Like, take the limits off. Take the limits off. Take the limits off. Take the limits off. We go back to the first Coming to America. Sexual chocolate, baby.
Yep.
I just want to bring it today. We're taking the limits off.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
Hey, we appreciate you. I'm glad, dual effort. I saw yours, like I said, and I was like, man, we on the same type of purpose. So it was only natural for us to synergize the old Air Force 10 years ago. Synergize.
That's the big word of the day. That's the big word of the day.
Word of the day right there, man.
Synergize. Big word.
Google that right quick.
I tell people all the time, like, you can't see my hands, but right now I'm interlocking my fingers. So, hey, we appreciate you, big dog, and we will see y'all
Keep doing it
later.
Next time.
Indulge and to learn about ourselves. Perhaps